Conversations.
Okay.
Doing a solo one-on-one roleplay with Saxon. Go ahead.
Okay. So it's the next day, and I know we're not there yet, but I also don't want to, be the dick that crowds the entirety of the next game away from everybody.
Okay.
And I don't want them to hear some of this.
Okay.
So first thing I want to do, what's that chick that came with us? What's her name? Forgive me, I just woke up.
It's okay. It's Ziana.
Sayana. I want to go to her room.
Okay.
Knock on the door, see if she'll have a conversation with me.
What time of the morning are you doing this at?
Relatively early. I want to get this. There's several things I want to get done today. I don't want to be back before it's time to go to Kuo's for the sparring tournament.
She answers the door. You can tell she is half asleep at this point.
I will have a cup of coffee in my hand.
She looks at you for a moment, looks at the cup of coffee, grabs it, and goes, "Give me a second to put pants on." And she
Please.
goes and leaves the door open, and a moment later she says, "Come on in."
All right. So I have a couple questions for you. Since you're from here, what do you think?
What do I think is going to happen, or what do I think needs to happen?
The latter.
I think there's only one choice. For Zaglon, you're asking about it from my point of view of being someone that grew up here, and that would be... Sorry.
That's the princess, right?
Yeah, that is the princess, okay. Yes. She's the only one that actually cares about the people in a real, genuine way, and has proved it over a decade. From a standpoint of the Brotherhood, Sartok's the only choice.
How did you know we met her?
Well, followed, listened, went and talked to her afterward.
So you already knew she was there?
Well, not until, I heard you guys talking. I was outside the window. In case something went south, I could, stabby.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was listening, I, figured out what's going on.
How well do you know that area?
Better than some. I didn't grow up in the town here per se. Like, I've spent time here, but not insane amounts of time. I know it better than the rest of the town, I suppose.
What are the chances that we were watched?
In that room, very slim. I could barely hear it. Like, something was dampening
No, and on the way there.
Oh, probably, yeah.
Do you know by who? Can you give me your best guess?
It would be by whom.
Okay.
They don't really advertise it heavily, obviously, because, crime isn't a glorious thing to the aristocrats. But there are 3 different gangs here that all have their headquarters in this town and each control a different portion of the continent. This is the place where it all converges.
What can you tell me about the gangs?
Well, the one is the Purple Flame Gang. You've heard of them. One is, they refer to themselves as the Dragons. Pretty stereotypical on that one. They control the southern area of the country. The Purple Flame Gang. They control the vast majority of the country. They control the entire west. No, east. Sorry, East Coast.
As a third gang?
Third gang. They control the northwestern area. And they call themselves the Rough Riders. It's kind of lame. It's made up mostly though of the northern men, so it makes sense. I've also heard them refer to themselves as the Trinity, but I guess how they are. I think that's because they actually have 3 leaders, not just one. But
given that the princess had us refer to her as the Jade Dragon, is there any chance she has an affiliation with this dragon gang?
Probably, yeah. I mean, she's survived under the radar for quite a while. She's... Yeah, there's probably a decent chance of it, that, or she's mocking them. I mean, none of the gangs are particularly nasty to the everyday person. In some of the rural areas, there's some issues. The Purple Flame Gang has the most power out of all the 3, but that's because they control so much area. They control 2 of the 3 largest... No, sorry. They control 3 of the 4 largest. I forgot that the new one... ports in the country. And they do hold that whole, you might want to pay us, or accidents can happen in the port cities, but they don't do that anywhere else. The Dragon Gang is probably the weakest of the 3. They mostly just control desert. They do have one port city. Technically, the Trinity or Rough Riders, or whatever the hell they want to call themselves, they don't have a port city. But they do have a lot of mercenaries, so they outsource in a different way. Now that I'm saying it, I bet you they... It probably is something to holding the groups up there from attacking and killing each other. There is 3 main mercenary camps up there, 3 families. Trinity, I guess, I don't know why I never put that together before. But...
Do you have any inconspicuous clothing?
Yeah. How inconspicuous do you want me to be?
I think you and I should go have another conversation with the princess. And I would prefer to minimize the eyes that realize we're there.
I can understand that. There's several ways we can get down there without them knowing a lot. That area, it's kind of like neutral grounds for the 3 gangs, since, everybody kind of likes the bars down there and that location. But yes, I can get down there without anybody seeing me. That is not an issue. You're the one that's the issue on that. But you have magic, so I'm sure you're good.
Alright. Give me your advice. What should I look like?
Basic commoner, unless you want to draw attention for another, I can tell you, like, descriptions of some of the gang members.
No, throw me into a basic. I will transform in front of her.
She'll give you basically a description of, like, an everyday commoner, slightly dirty shoes, blah, 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 just going through. By the time you're done, you will look very much the part, of just a good old-fashioned Zaglon citizen.
Sounds good.
You should probably be carrying something as well, just to, you know, complete the look, like maybe a bunch of twigs or a pot.
Is there a pot in this room?
There is not.
Okay, I will remember what it is I'm supposed to look like. Transform back into Saxon. Ask her to meet me outside in 5 minutes.
Okay.
10 minutes. Come with me. Let's go learn a thing.
She nods and goes to her suitcase, basically, as you leave and shut the door. So what are you doing in those 5
I'm going to
minutes?
go down to the kitchens.
Okay.
Is there a head chef? Somebody in charge?
Yeah, there's somebody cooking in there.
Do they have a sizable pot that I can borrow?
That's an unusual request, especially from a patron of ours. But I suppose. Do you need it for something specific?
Yes, but I will return it to you in clean.
Oh, very well. They'll grab a pot and hand it to you, kind of reluctantly.
I will offer him one of the platinum pieces.
Take it. Collateral?
Unless you think it's worth more.
No, this will do. Puts it in his pocket, almost nervously. You can tell he's like shoving it all the way to the bottom of his pocket, make sure it doesn't fall out, type thing.
I'm not asking you to lie, but maybe don't volunteer that I was down here.
He nods.
Thank you.
Goes back to work, a little confused still. But,
And before I go outside, I will make sure I look like the commoner, and I will wait for. I can't remember her name.
Ziana.
Write this down. Ziana.
Zyana.
There's so many names.
There is a lot of names. It's like reality, except fantasy.
And I hardly remember anybody's name in reality.
Yeah, I am horrible with names. That's why I have everything written down in excess.
You saw that text message Robert sent me last night?
Yeah.
Yeah? It took me like 15 minutes to figure out who the fuck he was talking about. And
Fair
I mean
enough.
that like with all due respect. I just genuinely bad with names.
Huh? But you could rattle off actors and actresses like that and connections.
Yes.
Yeah, I can't do that even. So, you know, everybody has their niche.
They're weird ass.
So, it'll be a little bit, another minute or so after you get out there, that she'll come out. Very commonly dressed, and she has like a tourniquet over her head, basically, that's kind of pulling down, because she has like very clearly seen tattoos on her head, on the side of her head, because she has half of it shaved. So she has that all tied up, and she kind of blends in like any elf here, or half elf. A little bit
Fair
more
enough.
regally dressed than you are. She's holding herself a little higher than usually she does. Kind of acting along with the outfit she does have.
I can live with it. Shall we?
She nods and starts walking in front of you.
Yep, I will definitely fall into lockstep behind her in order to keep up appearances.
So, as she's going, she'll like find a few things, grab some stuff, like randomly off the side of the road, and put them in the pot, just like it makes it look like you're carrying stuff for her as you're going along. And by the time you guys get down there, it's getting a little heavier to carry it, but you know you're good with it still. It's not like a strength check required. It's just, you know, if you've been carrying something for a while, your arms start to ache a little bit, and feeling like it's almost feeling like it's almost training coming on here. And she seems to be taking a little bit more pleasure in it than than anticipated. And then when she gets there, she goes, "You know what? You've been doing such a great job, manservant. How about I reward you? Let's go. We'll get you a cheap one." And she'll walk into the Laughing Cow.
I will obviously smile, as though I were excited.
And she'll be inside there. As soon as you come in, she'll be like, she looks at the lady, leans down, and you can hear her very softly say, you only can hear her because she's in the room, say, "We're here to talk to the Jade Dragon." And the ladies will be like, "Don't know where she's in right now, but you can go look. If you're allowed in, you'll be allowed in." So she turns around, looks at you, motions, and heads up the stairs.
Up we go.
You will get to the end of the room. The door is there. Like I said, it is one of the very few rooms, again, that still have a door. The door is unlocked. And open it up to find the room is currently empty.
Is there a pad and paper?
There is on the desk, yes.
I don't know if I trust it.
Like, you can see that from where you're standing in the hall, so.
How well can we trust what happens inside this building?
In that room, I think we can. It depends on what you mean trust, as well.
Words getting outside of the building.
If it's in that room, I don't think it'll leave that room without her permission.
Fair enough. I'm going to pick up a piece of paper.
Like,
And
from inside the room?
Yeah.
Alright, as you go to step into the room, you're going to feel some resistance, as if you're, like, stepping into, like, a piece of cloth on the door. And you can feel it pushing against you as you're walking in. Like, it doesn't obstruct you but you can feel it pressing against you. And as you come in, you'll notice that it is not what you saw just a moment ago. You actually see her asleep on the bed.
I will exit the room.
Okay. So, yeah.
She's asleep.
Want me to wake her up?
Do you think that's a good idea?
Depends on how you wake her up. Probably
These
not.
rumors might be true.
She's like, it probably wouldn't be a good idea, though. But I can't, like, teleport, so, you know, there's that.
Yeah, we don't need to piss her off quite yet. I'm gonna put the pot down.
Okay.
Go back downstairs.
Mm-hmm. .
sit down or lean in front of the lady, look her dead in the face, and then in her head, she's asleep. Do you have somewhere we can wait until she wakes?
She looks around a little confused and looks at you again. Like, not sure what the hell she's supposed... Like, she's obviously never had somebody talk in her ear or in her head before. Who are you? Did you hear that? She's
Okay.
looking at you then.
I'm just gonna switch my head back into Saxon's.
Okay. She jumps at first.
Calm down.
I'll never get used to magic. So that was you in my head? Okay.
Yes.
What time is it?
Back
Hold on.
on.
She looks down underneath the counter. She'll be awake in about 2 minutes. She wakes up promptly at the same time every day when she's here.
Does she enjoy coffee or something?
I honestly don't know. She usually leaves very quickly when she does wake.
Thank you.
She nods. Still trying to catch her breath from the scare that she had.
I wasn't here.
I will not lie, but I will not
That's fine.
avenge.
Thank you.
I will lie if you want. She says that and like holds out a hand and points to a sign on the wall, which basically has that like listing like the bars does. You know, this tip, your wife, you were here but left. This one, you know, if your wife calls, going through. Basically that type of thing. The most expensive one on there is like 1 gold. So.
How many more platinum pieces do I still have?
3 of them have been spent so far, and you gave one away.
10?
20 actually.
20? Oh yeah, fuck. I'll put one into her hand.
Okay. She goes
slyly.
She like you do, and as you do it like disappears again. She's just like, I don't know where that came from. And just completely ignores your existence.
I will go back upstairs.
As you're getting back up there, you'll see that Ziana is just kind of standing at the end of the hall. She's leaning against the door, and like half of her is visible, and half of her isn't, as she's obviously leaned into the room a little bit. And when she hears you coming, she'll lean back out. She's starting to stir. She'll be awake in a minute. I didn't do anything.
I know.
So you just want to wait here? Or, like, be like, surprise, we're in your room.
No, let's give her a minute and then knock on the door. This is a friendly visit.
She shuts the door. About a minute or so passes. She motions for you. Gonna hear a, come in. Very soft.
Open the door.
You open the door and you still do not see her, as before, but when you step through again, you'll see her.
At which point, I will make sure I look like Saxon.
Okay. So, she looks and goes, Did you feel the resistance? Just curious. And the illusion, was it in place?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that means I set it up so you can come in. Good. What can I do for you?
Do you need a cup of coffee or something?
No, I'll be fine. I usually get out for a very quick, brisk walk in the morning, but I don't have time for that at the moment. Although I suppose we could talk and walk at the same time. If you're okay with me looking like someone else. Or if our conversation is okay to be outside.
I'm going to reach into my bag and hand her a... Well, no, because I kind of want Ziana to hear this too. I will reach into my bag, hand Ziana an earring, and then the princess an earring.
Okay. She looks at it for a moment.
It allows
Ziana's
us to
already put it in.
communicate. It allows us to communicate telepathically. So we can just be 3 people out for a walk.
She takes off her earring that she currently is wearing and puts on one of the ones that the one you handed her. And she changes form, looking much more like the boy that you had seen before, but without the mask, like without the cloth and everything. She just looks like a poor boy, literally.
Sure, I'll look back like how I did. I'll give her a little rundown of how it works.
She nods. Makes sense. So
if you'd like to go for the walk, you can do that.
She does that, like she does like a little motion, like almost unnecessary. And Ziana's like, perhaps I should just like walk a little distance. Doesn't this have like a good range?
Yeah.
Okay. She's like, I'll walk close to you guys, but let the two of you, because I don't exactly blend with you two.
Fair enough.
So you you guys will start just walking around town, basically. It is a brisk walk. Like, she's getting the blood flowing is what she's doing.
That's fine.
And she's, in your head then, she'll be like, so, what do you want? And I'm assuming you open this communication so Ziana can hear it as well.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you heard of our little group before this?
Yes.
So you know what we try to do.
Well, I knew your little group before you were a little group. Actually, you've already worked for me once.
Really?
You remember a tiara you retrieved from goblins? That was mine.
That was your party.
That was the party I sent you to. I was there. I watched, to see what type of people you were. And I have watched since then as well. Maybe not personally, but I have people that are keeping an eye.
Well, that kind of got out of hand.
That got out of hand very quickly, but I also learned that you know how to have a good time and know how to cut out when the party is done. That's a skill not a lot have. Maybe not so much for your big blue friend, but he's not here today, so it's okay.
True. Even if I wanted it, and I think even if you wanted it, I think the idea of putting you on the throne would be a mistake.
Yeah. I agree.
At least now.
Like, Ziana doesn't say anything, but you could definitely feel. Like, it's the first time you felt emotions through it. She doesn't hide her emotions very well at all. Feel that she is not approving of that comment. But she doesn't say anything.
Okay, well, the princess is intelligent. Maybe she would understand that I'm speaking, in this case, for Ziona's benefit, not for hers.
Well, the Zionis already the princess already responded. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm just making sure you know Ziona was like,
The political machine is not going to approve. Okay, fine. We'll glance backwards real quick. And then quickly, the political machine would not approve, and if certain rumors that I've heard about the princess are true, chances are pretty high she would be killed before she's able to affect any meaningful change.
yeah, that is also true.
Regardless of how strongly we try to protect her.
This is true.
I think that you would be better for the people that you're clearly working for. In the sense that, you know, you're working to help them, not you're an employee of.
She nods.
If we kept you in your position and tried to assist you in any way we could.
See, I've had one offer already of protection of somebody that actually could protect me if I wanted to be Empress. But it would require something I'm not willing to do.
This is not an offer of protection. If you've been paying any kind of attention, you've noticed that we've worked to assist the lower classes.
I have noticed you work to assist the lower classes.
Okay.
However, some of your trainees, and she kind of glances back at Ziona, have also showed great aptitude towards that as well. But not everybody in your organization actually seems to hold the same lofty goals as you.
Well, there's a reason that she's here now and not somebody else. Excuse me.
I think it's funny still because you guys actually were really considering flopping her.
Yeah, we were. I will do what I can from my angle to make your life here a little bit easier. If I hear any rumors or anything that will potentially injure you, I will put a stop to them.
Well, to be frank, part of what you are... How do I phrase? One you have associated with yourself with here, whom I know you don't want to, is part of the issues having here. Ivy? Violet? Whatever she's going by right now. She has great ambition. I know she's already made the offer to me, and I'm sure she has to my brothers as well. She wants to be very, very, tied into the family. The Emperor is allowed to have more than one wife. So she has ulterior motives that you need to be aware of. She's also the one that offered protection. But it would require me taking her as a wife, and I'm not willing to do that. She's, and her group has hurt too many people on the coast. I just can't.
Hang on. Okay. 21 to insight.
seems on the level.
Okay. Also, this I should mention this tentative alliance that I'm approaching does not, nor will it ever come with the stipulation that you, I, or anybody forge it matrimoniously.
It's nice for you to be able to say that, and that is good, but most things in the royal court are forged that way. It's a good thing that you're not actually part of the royalty, because I can actually trust you when you say that. Also, I don't believe you have any ambition to be royalty, so...
No, that no.
You. I trust you on that one.
Like I said, I think it's a lot easier to get done what we need to get done from the position that you're in now.
She looks back again to see the Zion is a good block and a half behind you guys. She kind of looks around real quick and she says in a very, very hushed tone, under her breath almost, barely, you could barely hear her. She says, I believe you've seen the Shadow Man too, haven't you?
She's referring to, okay, this is OOC. She would be referring to the guy I made the deal with for my life.
You're assuming so?
Probably.
I've seen him before, but he's never talked to me. But his shadow is present around my father. And with that, she goes back to talking in the head to you. So we both know that we can't trust Ivy or Violet of any sort, and well, if you are going to be making pacts or alliances and you don't want me to be in, who are you thinking of pledging yourself to? I understand it's just thoughts right now, not a commitment.
First impressions?
Nods.
Kuo, who's the other one?
Sartok.
Sartok.
Yeah, Kuho and
First
Sartok.
impressions, probably Sartok.
He's going to be the best for your organization. He'll be able to help your friend.
You seem leery.
I'm weary of both of them. I don't... Neither one of them have the strength my father does to make the decisions that are best overall. They both have their own ambitions. It could just be because they're both young. Or because they're both men.
I resemble that remark.
So... But they haven't been involved in the world. They don't know what's going on. They don't understand. They're so disconnected. I wish they would get good advisors, but even the advisors they're surrounding themselves with are lofty. Although Sartok does think himself a man of the people.
Specific kind of people, but yeah, that I understand.
You tend to favor that same specific type of people. Those that drink heavily at bars and unwind from the day of work.
I favor them, but not to the extent that I ignore everybody else.
Just thought I'd point that out.
And maybe it's just that I'm unwinding after a heavy day of work. If all right, so here basically is my proposition. I will make myself accessible to you if there's anything I can do to help your people. In exchange for exactly the same thing.
I think that is agreeable, to an extent, as long as it is based around the people.
Of course. At the moment, I think you're the best chance that they have for a better life.
Not much of the country suffers in the way as bad as other countries, but it's definitely extremes in some places.
And I'll see if I can shift some of the focus of Violet away from you. Because the last thing in the world we want is for her to actually wind up marrying one of the emperors and then spilling the beans about where you are.
She nods. She may be difficult on that one. She has connections. Do not underestimate her. Like, you do know that she is now 100% in charge of the Purple Flame Gang. She killed the previous leader, took his place. Though she would have inherited it eventually, she decided instead to kill her older brother to assume the title.
Clever girl. That one's under my breath, out loud. Gruck has a goal, I think, and if he's able to complete it, we might just be able to placate her power lust. For a time.
That would be good.
Also, in the event that war breaks out in Awen, this is something I actually did really want to. This was the main focus of the conversation. The alliance was just basically to try to build a level of trust.
Okay.
What can we do about the refugees?
Which refugees are you speaking of specifically?
Well, we're gonna have to go and What the shit?
What?
Origin just popped up an update.
Yeah.
It just was like, whoa! Well, we're gonna have to go and see about untethering the yoke of the York that's on the neck of the orcs at the moment. Which will probably mean that we're gonna have to do some fighting. And I would like to minimize collateral damage for non-combatants.
That's a good point.
I will be there doing what I can, but there's a fairly decent chance that some of the people are going to flee.
There'll be some that flee in various places, that is true. But, with Awen, I don't know if they will actually leave, given how large the country is, kind of like ours, but I don't know.
If they do, especially the common people, would you be able to help them also?
Well, as
This
I
is-
am
'cause-
now, no.
If I use the influence I have with the Emperor, whichever one of your brothers it winds up being, and I'm able to get them safely here, can you and whomever your friends may wind up being... I want to make sure these people don't starve.
That makes sense.
This is a war, not a genocide.
Yeah, I can do some, like I said, with, yeah, I will do what I can. That I will promise.
Okay.
What are you planning on doing there?
I'm not entirely sure. From what I can gather, the Yorks are currently separated into camps that are pretty well guarded.
Okay.
I believe Gruk's primary objective is to gain their freedom. But what comes after that, I don't know.
She nods. I can understand.
And
that.
I am covering my bases. Because if they turn and attempt to attack the cities proper, which is a possibility, that's when I'm afraid that refugees will become a thing. Make no mistake, there's other possibilities that aside from maybe a few skirmishes from the offset will eventually result in ultimate peace, and that would be preferable. But if the racism that I'm hearing is as strong as it is, or as strong as it might well be, I don't know if that's going to be enough. Or Gruk is military-minded, and I don't think that he's going to think about the collateral damage.
No, I'm sure he won't. I'm very sure he won't.
That's why I'm here.
She nods. You can tell she's clearly thinking very deeply about it right now. The problem is I'm on the opposite side of the world. There's very little I'll be able to do that way. But I do have some connections that can run through Zahor. Yeah, it's about the best I can do on that. Yeah. She nods again.
Are we turning back towards the...
You've actually looped around a couple times.
Okay.
Well, is there anything else that needed to be...
I'm sure there was. I can't remember it right now.
That makes sense. And she's just like, I think this is probably a pretty good place to walk our separate ways in. And back up if we need to at a later point. I will see what I can do. You do what you can do, and just send a message to me letting me know which brother you're choosing to back.
I will do that. I have my earring back.
She nods, takes it off, and hands it to you.
Thank you.
It has been a pleasure walking with you, she says.
Likewise.
Gives a little nod, a small bow, and walks off. And bada bing, bada boom, I think that one is done. Michael never showed up, even though I have called him, so I am assuming he's not coming on. So,
alright, well, baseball then?
Baseball then.
It's 2-0 Cards last I checked.